welcome back, my peeps. So today we're gonna make a pumpkin pie. Yes, a pumpkin pie. So I'm not gonna say most of everything you need is from Dollar Tree, but a lot of the products you are gonna get from the Dollar Tree. You're gonna need one of these car wash sponges. You are going to need a cake pan. Do not get the pie pan. You want the cake pan, okay? Because the pie pan is kind of slanted in and you're not going to be able to fill it up too much and all that good stuff. So make sure you get the cake pan, okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to also need some paint, which I'm going to show you a couple of different colors. You can use classic Appleberry Classic Caramel, or Folk Art Coffee Latte, or Deco Art Honey Brown. It's like any lightish, like a really light, like a mocha colored paint. Anything like that you have. You don't go buy anything if you don't need to buy. Use the color that you have at home. I'm gonna use Classic Caramel. You're going to need some Mod Podge and maybe a little bit of cinnamon, or if you know how to make the fake cinnamon, you could use that. But if you wanted to have a cinnamon scent, you're gonna use that. And I'm gonna be using UV resin, and y'all gonna see why in a little bit. I also used a mold to make the strips for my pumpkin pie, right? But you don't have to. All you have to do is just cut it in strips and use that. But we'll get to that part in a minute. Okay, so the first thing, you're gonna need some clay too. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some clay on the edge of this pan. No, but first thing I'm gonna do, let's make the filling. Let's make the filling first. So this is how you're gonna make the filling. You're gonna get your sponge and I had a fabric scissor. If you have a fabric scissor, this will cut so much nicely if you have a fabric scissor. So you're just gonna take your sponge and you're gonna cut like strips basically, right? And then you're gonna go like, these are gonna be your apple pieces. Just cut them down, apple size, whatever size you want. They don't have to be cut perfectly because it's apple. And you're going to cut a whole bunch of these pieces like this. Okay? And I'm going to show you with this batch right here, the next step. Now you can cut your apple slices as big, as small. If you're making a small pie, make the pieces smaller. If you're making a big pie, make them, regular, normal size, bite size. If you find that your pieces are too big, just go back and cut them up a little bit more. That's all. Now I'm gonna just do this little piece right here. Now you can cut this down like that. Like you don't want too many large pieces, because when you make apple pie, you usually cut up your apple to, Now another thing, this stuff gets sticky like those foam balls. It could be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but that's okay, because the end product is what we want. So I got the idea on how to paint these from a YouTube channel called Mother Thyme. But Thyme is spent like the spice, Thyme. I will post a link down below where she does the pie, but she does prim and which is primitive, and what's that other word? Farmhouse. But the idea is kind of the same. So, but at the same time different. I'll post a link and you could go watch it. Okay, so now you're gonna take your apple slices and you're gonna put it in a bowl. Okay, you can put it in a bowl because we're gonna color this. So you're gonna need a glove, a disposable glove for this. Look, you see it sticking to my hand. Ay. Go in the bowl. You're gonna need, got a life of its own. You are going to need a disposable glove. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make enough of these apple slices to fill your cake pan. This is not gonna be enough to fill your cake pan, but I'm gonna show you in a minute what's gonna happen. You know what? I'm gonna use honey brown, okay? I was gonna use classic caramel, but I'm gonna use honey brown. So you're gonna take the paint and you're not gonna pour it in there. You're gonna take the paint and you are going to put the paint in your hands. Okay? And you are going to spread it like that in your hand. And then you're going to go in your bowl and you are going to, hold on, I need this out the way. This kind of in my way. And you are going to paint your apple pieces that way. Because you don't want to pour your paint in there and it be like clumps. You see how that's starting to look like? Don't look like apple, like cooked apple pie pieces. And just keep on until you get your pieces. Oops. Now, if you want to add some, I think this is perfect right here. It looks just like apple pie filling. You see it? We went from a yellow sponge to apple pie. Okay, so now you're going to take this. After you made as much as you need, because I'm not going to make a lot because I already have some. You're going to pour it on your pan. You're going to fill this pan up. Okay? Because you're going to need it to fill in the cake pan. So you're going to put it like that. And you're going to let this dry. Put it in a corner somewhere and let it dry, okay? So, we got our apple slices. And we're going to let them dry, right? Then, once you let them dry, you are going to have... Sorry, I'm trying to put this down. You are going to have a whole bunch of... I'll put mine in the bag after they dry. So now what you want to do is you want to take your apple slices, your apple pieces, and you want to put it in your cake pan to see how much you are going to need, okay? You want to fill up your cake pan. Just make sure it's nice and filled. Might not need all of it. This was a whole sponge I cut up, okay? Well, it's not, it wasn't. Yeah, there's a whole, but I already used half of the sponge, okay? So you're going to fill it up. If you see any little openings, it doesn't matter because just try to fill it up as best you can. You don't want it too high because remember, your strips are going to go over the pan, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's filled up like this because we're still going to go to a next step. So you're going to get your bowl back out and you're going to pour these in there. Now, you're going to need another glove. And I didn't see anybody do this, but this was like my own thought. And it worked pretty good. So I'm going to share it with you guys. You're going to take some Mod Podge. Not a lot. You don't need a lot. But we want the pieces to stick together and not move around when we put them back in our pan, right? So I'm just going to take a little bit of Mod Podge like this. And at this point, you also, if you're going to put your cinnamon in there, you want to add it like now. Just put your little bit of cinnamon in there. Okay. And then you're going to take it and you're going to mix it up like how you did with the paint. We just want these pieces to stick together when we put them, when we put them back in our cake pan, okay? We want the pieces to stick together when we put them in the cake pan. So if you feel you need, I mean, I think this is enough, but if you, these cake pieces, apple pieces are just flying all over them. If you feel you need a little bit more, just put it. You really don't need a lot because, oh boy, I made a mess. Gotta wipe this off because this Mod Podge be sticking really hard. I'm gonna put a little bit more cinnamon too. But you could, I mean, you don't want to put too much cinnamon where it gets like really dark, but you could definitely smell that really good. So I'm gonna mix it up some more. Make sure you grab all that glue and you mix it around really well. You want all the pieces to be covered. Get down in there. Make sure you grab those pieces that's in the bottom. And then you're gonna leave this alone for a minute. You're gonna take your glove off. You ain't gonna need no more gloves, I don't think. So you're gonna take, this is where you get your clay. This is where you're gonna need your clay because we're gonna cover the edge. So I got my the clay that I color in classic caramel. But if you have cookie dough color or whatever color you have, you can use that. Let me make sure I take out enough. This is kind of sticky. Let me get my time for this. Okay, so now you are going to get your clay. All I did was spray my, I'll move this over here and move this over. Move everything out the way that do not need to be here. So you're just gonna roll your crust. I got stuff on here that I don't want to get caught up in my clay. So this is just baby oil. I sprayed on my hands. If your clay is tacky, just rub some on your hand and work it into the clay, and it shouldn't be that sticky anymore. So you're just gonna roll this into a log. Okay, the log does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be long enough to go around your pan. Okay, is this long enough? No. So you're just gonna roll it until and then you're just gonna take it and you're just gonna put it around like this. And you're gonna smash it into the sides because you need to cover the crust on the inside. You want it to look like it has crust. When you put the top layer, you just want it to look like it has a crust. Okay. And then once you do this part, like smooth it out as best as you can. Kind of let it overlap to the top, okay? Because you don't want it to shrink. Because once the clay starts drying, it starts shrinking. And you want to make sure that it kind of reaches to the edge, okay? You can always cut the excess off once it's dried. So don't worry about that part, okay? Then you're going to take, you are going to, ooh, I'm not going to worry about that part because I'm going to take the blade. Once it dries, I'm going to take the blade. I just want to make sure that it's enough not to shrink, okay? But you could clean it up after. You take a blade or anything to cut the excess off. Just go straight across it like that and cut it off. Then you're going to take your fake apples and you're going to dump it in there like that. Make sure you press it down because you want the glue pieces to stick. You want them to stick together. Make sure you got enough going around your edges and all that good stuff. And once this dries, you're going to then paint the inside crust, okay? So don't worry about that too much. But this is what you want. And you really don't have to worry about that because we're going to cover that up anyways. But you don't want to leave it. So if somebody looks in here, they're going to see the metal tin. You want to cover that up, okay? And look, isn't that starting to look like a nice, yummy pie? Hey, you got an extra piece in there. Now make sure you press it down so the glue pieces will stick together. Now if you want to put a little bit of more cinnamon on top, you can do that. But you can see, you can't probably see it on camera, but you can see the cinnamon piece, the cinnamon on the apple pieces. Okay? Now make sure you get every little and press it down like that. Press it down. And then you're going to put this to the side and let it dry. And maybe after you let it dry, some of the pieces don't stick down. Just glue it back with Mod Podge or a hot glue gun at that point. But most of everything is going to stick, okay? So this is that. So then when you're done, you're going to have something like this. This is dry. It's hard. The Mod Podge is hard. It's not going anywhere or anything like that. So what I did for this pie, I got my UV resin and I got a little piece of paper. Well, I actually had a little bowl, but I don't know, like the UV resin bowl, but I'm going to use this just to show y'all real quick. Because I don't know if you can tell, but can you see like it has like a glaze on it? You see that? That's UV resin. If you want to, if you don't have UV resin, you do not need it. I was experimenting with this. And this is what I got, so I'm sharing it with you. So you take you some little bit of UV resin and get you a brush. Now, once you use this brush for the UV resin, it belongs to UV resin. You're not going to be able to use it or anything else. Because when you try to wash it, it's going to be a little bit tacky afterwards. It's never going to be the same. So anyway, I took the UV resin and I kind of like tapped it onto some pieces like that. And then I took my UV light and I went in there and just let it dry. Okay, UV resin sets up pretty fast. So I say like in 2 or 3 minutes, your resin should be hard, okay? And that's how I got it to have that glazed look. Okay? So now I'm going to paint the inside crust. But I want to show you something before I do that. So this should be good. It should be set. Well, I didn't really hit this one. And you can use regular resin too. It don't have to be UV. If you have regular 2-part epoxy resin, you can do that. Just mix a tiny amount, enough to brush on here. But then you're going to have to let this set until the resin dries. You don't need the UV resin. You can use regular resin if you want. But you got to let it dry overnight or however long it takes to dry, right? So now I'm going to take my classic caramel and I'm going to paint my crust, okay? My inside crust. So I'm going to get some of the the acrylic paint and put some on a little piece of paper and get my stencil brush. Make sure I take off most of the, and just go in there and paint my crust, okay? Very lightly. You don't want it to be like a burnt or too dark. You just want to go in there and paint your crust. Let me know what y'all think about this apple pie. I think this is one of my best and my favorite tutorial. I'm excited. I was excited about this when I started putting it together. I was like, oh, I'm gonna save this for Thanksgiving time or fall and all that good stuff. So, and most everything is from Dollar Tree except the clay. If you need some clay, I will post a link to someone to Designs by Yanita. She sells clay. Y'all can go get her some clay from her. So, there you go. So, the inside is painted. We're going to move this over here. And then now, I'm going to put the top on, okay? Alright guys, so this is the mold that I used. I'll post a link. If you have a Hobby Lobby, they have it at Hobby Lobby. But if you don't, I will post the Amazon link. Amazon has this mold as well. And you're going to need your little bit of clay. And you're just going to pop it in that mold. And I think I made 12 strips. Because I kind of wanted it to go, I don't know if I want it to, like, so if you, hold on, let me just finish my thought. So I kind of wanted to go like, boom. I don't know if I want 4 strips or, because I mean, I do want the apple part to show, right? That's the point. If I wanted to go like that, I think 8, but I did, because then I started thinking maybe I want it to be a little bit tighter, but I do want the apple pieces to show, because that's the star of the show, right? The apple. So I'm just going to do 4 and 4 going this way and 4 going that way. So now my strips, I did pre-make them. Because if you make these strips, right, fresh, and then you try to lay it over this, it's going to lose its shape. It's going to lose this prettiness and all that good stuff. So I didn't want that. And these still are kind of a little bit flexible. So I'm going to glue these down with my hot glue gun. And I hope it sticks because there's nothing really on here. Oh, Lord, I didn't think about that. So maybe you should let the clay come over to the edge, okay? So when you stick this on here, it's not going to come up. But we're going to try it anyway, okay? Because we still going to have to put that piece that goes around. And you could pinch it under your pen. So don't be stressed out about that. Because I was about to get stressed out. But I ain't going to get stressed out. Because ain't no fake apple pie going to stress me out. So, if you don't have this mold, you still make your strips. You take your clay, you're going to roll out your clay, and just cut it into strips and let those strips dry. Now, let me tell you something. When you make thin stuff like this, there's a chance that it's going to like turn and try to curl and all that good stuff. Flip it over. When you make these kind of pieces, let the top dry. Flip it over. If it starts curling that way, you flip it over and you flip it over. And it gets to a point where you feel like you can't control it. Take something once it's dry, not when it's wet because it will stick. And you take something heavy and you put it on top of it like that. Until you feel it been long enough for it not to curl, okay? So now we're going to move on to this crust part. Oh, like I said, you don't need this mold. But also, if you have a Hobby Lobby, wait till they put the baking stuff for 40% off, and you can get that mold. Okay, it's around, I think it's $7.99 or $6.99, so you could get it for 40% off. And this is a really nice mold because it comes with 3 different styles. I chose to do this braided style, but they have the pearl style, they have like whatever. Anyways, so I got my glue gun over here, and I am going to start gluing this down. But I'm not gonna glue the whole. Wait, let me see how I want this to go, especially the top layer, because that's what we're gonna start with. Okay. Well, of course we have to start with this, right? And then you just want to make sure you kind of space it nicely. I think that's going to be good. So I'm just going to take it and glue it down like this. I'll cut off all the excess later. So this is the only part that I didn't do in advance. So I hope it works out the way I planned in my head. But I think it's going to be okay. If not, learn a lesson here. Don't do what I did. So, now I kind of wanted to interlace these. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go like boom, bam, boom, bam. Is that how you interlace? Yeah, I think that's going to be good. And then I'm going to glue it down. Okay. Now you don't have to do this. You could just put them on top if you want. I'm just trying something here, okay? I think that's how you interlace. I'm not sure. And then we're going to go over and under and over and under. This is like making a real pot. Excuse me. Right? So then you're going to glue that part down. I hope I spaced them. I didn't even like really space them out good. I mean, you could always just do this part first and then glue it down and move the pieces around. But you know what? I always think of everything afterwards. Y'all know that already. So now we're going to go under, over, under, over. Right? Like that. Yeah. Okay, and you're just going to glue it down. Hold it down for a minute. Make sure that glue, straighten them out if you can. See, it's already lifted. This one already lifted. But that's okay. Because at the end when I'm done, I'll go back and glue them down. So that one was under. So we're going to go over, under, over, under, and that's going to be our last piece, and I think it looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go back and reinforce the clay pieces, because I understand it's clay, metal, hot glue. That's not really a good combination, but we're going to make it work. We're not going to give up. We're going to make it work. I'm going to come back over here and glue this down. Like that. Make sure you get all the those glue webs. So now I'm going to glue these parts down. This is my first time making apple pie, a fake one. I never made pie. I never made pie, like real pie. Never made real pie. Do you guys make from scratch, a pie from scratch? And what is your favorite pie? I'm not really crazy about pie, but I could eat like a little piece of cherry pie or apple pie every once in a while. Maybe sweet potato. Pie is not my favorite, but I will, try it. Now, if it's a chocolate pie, a chocolate cream pie, or something like that, nah, I could probably get with that. But grab all them glue webs, okay? Now you're gonna get your scissor, and you're just gonna go like this. And cut around. Like that. Now, if you make this pie, guys, I take a lot of time to think of ideas. I mean, sometimes you guys love it, and then sometimes I'm like, well, maybe they really didn't like that because of the views or the engagement that I get and stuff like that. But if you make this pie, tag me. Please tag me. I want to see your pie. And I would love for you to share my channel and all that good stuff, so I can get more viewers to my channel. And it gives me a channel the opportunity to grow. And it also gives me an idea of what you guys like, so I can keep on trying to make it. Like, it's really hard being a content creator, guys. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Alright, like, make sure you get all those little extra pieces that you cut off. And then I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to reinforce it with the hot glue. Because I really don't want this to, like, pop up. You know what I mean? Make sure you get those extra pieces. Okay. And those webs again. So, here goes the top of our pie. Trying to clean up a little bit, guys. Okay. So, I'm going to go in here real quick. And I'm just going to hit these edges, like, with the glue. Like, you don't want a lot. Do it nice and neat, okay? Nice and neat. And just hit it with the glue. We don't want these to, like, pop up. I'm doing it very thin, because I don't want this to show either. You know what I mean? But I do want to give it some reinforcement. So go in there with your hot glue and just, like, give it some reinforcement. Just do it, like, right on the metal part. Don't go into that, because then it's going to be hitting on your crust. So just go all the way around. I'm really excited about this project. I hope you guys are too. Of course, I don't have enough glue. You know, I have a glue stick here. Sometimes glue guns make me sick. Y'all sick of hearing me to complain about glue guns. But, like, they really do get on my nerves. I really like my old glue gun. I want my old 1985 glue gun. It was the best. And it died. I was so upset when I had to throw it in the trash. Like, there was no way I was saving that glue gun. The whole front part melted. I didn't even realize. And it was leaking glue. Oh my God, it was terrible. But I missed that glue gun. Alright, guys. I think we are done. And now you know what? You got a lot of glue webs to clean up, okay? So make sure you grab them because you don't want that in your pie crust. And then so now I'm just going to make the crust that goes on top. And I need to wipe off my table, so I'll be back. Because I can't have anything. When you're rolling out clay, you can't have anything around it because it will stick. So you got to wipe down your table. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Okay, guys. So I'm going to get my clay out. Got my baby oil right here because this clay is a little bit sticky. And it's going to need a little bit of help with the stickiness, which is fine. It gets sticky. Like this clay is sticky because it's white clay and I mixed it with classic caramel to get this color. Because this is like my favorite color for making like fake baked goods. It's like my favorite. So I make my own, which is white mixed with classic caramel. So it gets sticky from the paint, but that's okay. So I'm gonna roll out the dough for my edge, and then the pie is done. The pie is done. Make sure you get enough. I think this is too much, but I'm gonna go with it because every time I say it's too much, it don't be enough. But I think it is too much though. So I'm gonna just take some of it off. But I'm scared because I want it to go all the way around. So let's take some of that and put that there. Alright. So here we go. Let's roll it out. Because you kind of want a pretty thick roll. I mean, we could always take the excess off. No big deal. Try to make it as even as possible. The thickness. So it looks nice when you put it on your pie. Might want to cut the ends off because you know they be looking wonky. And I think this is gonna be it, guys. Let's see. Here goes the pie. Here goes my pie. All right, let me move these out the way. And let's pray for the best. Let me see. All right, so I'm just gonna start like just putting it on top. Okay, just put it on top because we're gonna come back and pinch it and do all that good stuff. So just put it on there like that. Cut off the extra piece. And now make sure you press it down good. Look at your edges. You see it's kind of has space. Make sure you pressing it down. Okay. Look at your pie. Make sure you're pressing your edges down. That is touching the bottom of the pan. The edge of the pan, I mean, not the bottom. And it's covering up those little pieces that you have going on there. Right? Now you kind of want it to go, when you pinch it, I don't know if I'm going to do it like pinching it like that, or you kind of want it to go, or do I want to go like this? I don't really know what I want to do because I never made a pie. So I don't know how I want this to go. You guys know I get stressed out when I have to kind of, but look at that pie already, and it's not even finished. Doesn't it look great? So, do I want to pinch it like this? Wait, how do people do it like this? Pinch it like that. Or, I don't know if I like the way that looks. But I don't know anything about pie. Or do you want to just go like this? Like, press it down like that? No, I like that pinch look. Let's do the pinch look. Guys, you do it however you want, okay? You guys make pies out there. You will make your pie look 100% better than my pie. I kind of like that. Now make sure over here on this side over here that your clay is coming under, okay? Because remember when I told you when it dries, you don't want it to separate. So you want to make sure that you come under. I'm all the way over there. You come under and you kind of stretch your clay to go under here so that it won't lift up, okay? This pie is pretty. I like it. Okay. Now, you're going to want to let this part, well, this part is already dry. You want to let this crust part dry, okay? Because we're going to take our brush and dry brush the crust, okay? So it looks baked. But if you do that now, you're going to mess up your crust because it's too soft. So let this sit. And then you're going to come back and you're going to dry brush it. So I will be back when I finish the dry brushing. I mean, when it sets up. When it dries a little bit and it's good enough that I could dry brush it and it's not going to mess up the design or anything like that, I'll be back, okay? Okay, guys, I'm back. This has hardened a little bit. It's still soft, but it has a skin on it, so it's not gonna lose its shape or anything like that. And so now I'm gonna put like the shading on the crust. I'm using classic caramel, apple barrel classic caramel, and I'm also gonna use a little bit of apple barrel chocolate sprinkle, like to give it those little brown baked dark edges. I don't know why I'm using this brush. I don't like that brush. So I want to take off most of the color off my brush. And I'm going to go in there and paint these up. I mean, I could have probably even painted these beforehand since they were already dry when I put them on here, just so they won't like get out of the shape or whatever. And I think I should have did that, but like I said, when you craft, sometimes you learn things as you go. So I'm just gonna make it look baked with my classic caramel. And this is going to take you a little bit of a minute because you want to make sure you get into those crevices. You don't really want to see too much white, because you know when the crust cooks, when it bakes, you don't see any white. So this is going to take some time to, I just want to show you guys. I'll go in at the end and finish it up. But you see how that's starting to look like a little bit baked. And what you do is you just let this dry, the first coat, and then if it's not dark enough for you, you go and you do another coat, a light coat though. Always start light. You can always add more, but you can't take it away once you put it on, okay? So just do it lightly. How is that looking? How is that looking? Wait, I need some more. This is pretty light over here, so we're going to darken that up a little bit. Let me get me some more classic caramel. I need like another little drop right here. This bottle is almost empty. That's how much I use it. So I'm just going to darken this up a little bit more. And like I said, you're going to have to come back. And if you find that some of these things, like this is like kind of moving, you can go in here and add some more fake apples. Like you could fill in the holes if you want. You know, like put more apples in there if you want to like fill it up to the brim. And then you can also add some of the UV resin if you want to. like give it that glazed, you know, the look of the juices from the apples. Totally up to you. The way you make your pie is not the way I make my pie. And that's in real life as well, except I never made a pie, but you probably have. I never made real pie. I've made plenty of cakes, cookies, all kinds of treats, but never pie. That was never on my menu. Okay, so I'm going to start going on the outside now and get my crust going. Now make sure you get all under there on your crust. And then that's it. And you darken it and make it as light, as dark as you want, as baked as you want. Make sure you go on the outside edges as well. This is an easy apple pie. And it looks so realistic. Uh-oh, I grabbed too much paint. You're just going to go around. Make sure you get all your little bit of crust underneath. Make sure you don't see any white. Go around the edges. It's also a perfect time. You can see all the edges on your crust. You can grab those too. Who's ready for the holidays? Who's starting to get ready and excited for the holidays? Some people, they like Christmas, but they get more excited about Thanksgiving. What do you think about that? Are you more excited for Thanksgiving or Christmas? I know some people at work, they really don't do Christmas, but they go all out for Thanksgiving. Vice versa. I don't get as excited as I used to. My daughter's big now, and I mean, you know, I celebrated with family, with my mom and my daughter and stuff, but it's not like it used to be, you know. Back in the day, you would get together with family. Everybody's all big now and grown, and guys, look at the pie. Ooh. Don't you want a slice of this? We done. But I'm going to put some little bit of dark, just a teensy bit. Matter of fact, let me get another piece of paper. Because I truly, really just want a little bit. I don't want too much. Again, this is chocolate sprinkle. Now, I'm really going to try to take away as much. Because I just want to go like, you know, give it a little bit of a brown. So it looks like it was in the oven really baking and stuff, you know. And it's usually like the high edges that get a little crusty. So just go in there and crust those edges up. And I'm gonna crust oh my God, this part. Just go in there and crust it up, you know, give it a little bit of brown edges so it can look baked, you know. I'm just really not touching it too much because this could get a little bit out of hand. And I am not trying to burn my pie. wanted to touch the paint. Wait, let me move this one over there so I could have this. Excuse me. So now I'm gonna go, okay, I gotta make sure. Just go a little bit on the top. Like, you don't want to get all crazy and everything, but you do want to make the pie look baked, okay? And I think this is it. This is it. You can find these stencil brushes at Dollar Tree, okay? It looks like this one. In the craft this square section, you can find this stencil brush. Or you could use a paintbrush. I just like using these stencil brushes. They're my favorite. Alright, so here we go. I think this really added that little bit of dimension to make it, give it that baked look. And I think I'm good. Guys, what do you think about the pie? I think it's easy and it looks so good. Like, I'm really excited about this. This is one of my favorite, my all-time favorite projects. My all-time favorite fake bake. See that? You see how yummy this looks? You see the apple in there? You can't really see, like, but it's like glistening, like it really has like the juices from the apples because of the resin. Guys, so that's it. That's basically it. That's our apple pie. And I wanted to show you the one that we had started before, that we mixed with the Mod Podge, and it's dry. It's already dry. So you can work on this as well. You know, it doesn't take long to dry. You just gotta give it a little bit of time. But look at these. Tell me that don't look like apples. Perfect apples. And you can smell the cinnamon on it too. So guys, go grab you some of those sponges, the cake pan, what we got from Dollar Tree, the sponges, the cake pan. You could get you some Mod Podge. You can get you some, if they have Model Magic Clay, you could get that from there. But I'll leave all the information in the box below. If you can't find it at Dollar Tree, you can get it on Amazon. And I also will post a link to Yanita, who sells the clay, and a link to the molds in case you want to get these molds, okay? To make the what they call it is lattice. Excuse me. But anyway, guys, this is it. I hope you like it. I hope I see you guys making some. I mean, it's so cute. Put it on your well, like, you can't put this on your tea tray, but you can put it on a, like, if you have a coffee bar or on your Thanksgiving display, whatever. Okay, guys, don't forget to leave me a comment, please. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like my tutorial. That really helps me a lot. And that's all I ask from you, is that you just support me in that way. Okay? It really means a lot to me. It helps my channel grow. And it gets me excited and motivated when you guys like something that I make, because then I know what to make for you guys. You know, sometimes I make tutorials and they don't get well liked, and the ones that I think are not gonna be well liked, you guys love. So I don't know. It's a roll of the dice, but I'm trying, and I'll give you what I have. And this by far is one of my favorites. It's definitely up there on the list of my top fake bakes. So anyway, guys, I will talk to you all very soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep crafting. I will talk to you all very soon. God bless you guys. Bye.